What's happening, everybody? Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you so much for tuning in to Loud Majority Live. It is happening. It is happening. Donald Trump in this corner. Donald Trump in that corner. Joe Rogan. We're going to be talking all things Joe Rogan today. What this means, not only for the campaign, but for the media landscape moving forward. I think this has far-reaching implications for the media ecosphere, and really how we do media moving forward in this country, moving forward in this world. I think this is a huge watershed moment that we're going to talk about the serious significance of. Also, Tulsi Gabbard has officially joined the Republican Party. Is she the future? We'll talk about that, whether or not that is true. Also, Kamala Harris got caught telling an out-and-out lie. She plagiarized a story that happened in a TV show and then got the TV show wrong. We're going to be talking all of that good stuff as Kamala Harris continues to discredit the election results, which I was told was a threat to democracy. I was told that was a threat to democracy, but it turns out it only is if we do it. Arizona continues to not understand the concept of counting. It's you use your fingers and your toes if you have to, Arizona. They seem to not be able to figure this out. And Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks finally comes to terms with what we've all known for the last decade. Before we get started today, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share this video out all over the place. Giddy up, let's go. Let's get that live chat up there. Marissa, how are you? Cindy, how are you? Chris, what's happening? Also, we're going to have a little bit of fun right now. I got an interesting message. So for those of you not watching on Rumble, you can't see Mike Stetson, what's happening. So for Marissa, for Chris, for Mike, for Cindy, a bunch of other people not watching on Rumble, there's a separate live chat. Okay? Jeanette, Angela, Marie. There's a separate live chat that you guys can't see. Okay, you see the Rumble live chat up on the screen right now. Well, there's a separate one that you can't see. And I received a delightful message, an absolutely lovely message from some random, I don't know who this is. I have absolutely no idea who this is. But we're going to have a little bit of fun at her expense today. So here is the other live chat that you guys can't see. I think this is pretty funny. I don't know who this woman is. Diane Miranda Weaver. You seem incredibly unstable, and you're probably going to die alone. I'm just saying. I don't know who you are, but it's good to know that more people in the live. Kathy, how are you? It's good to know that, some people have lost tether to reality. Dave, what's happening? Yeah. She seems like a normal, she almost seems like a normal-looking person. I don't know who she is. She probably should take it easy with the Botox. Just from this small image, I can already tell the lips way too much filler. Way too much filler. So feel free to shoot her a message and tell her to, there you go. Leanne, what's happening? Donna, how are you? Dave, loving all the people, guys. Make sure you're hitting the like button, hit the thumbs up button, share this video out all over the place, no matter where you're watching. Make sure you're following rumble.com/LFATV. Rumble.com/LFATV. Kate DiAugustino, are you ready for Madison Square Garden? Are you ready for Madison Square Garden? I know. I certainly am. Donald Trump at the Cathedral of Sport, baby. This Sunday. Giddy up. Let's go. Oh, Kate, message me after the show, by the way. Message me after the show. Hazel Kitty, how are you? Joe Spags, how we doing? Helen, Vintage Lulu Gal, what's going on? Want to say hello to everybody as we're rocking, as we are rolling here. So, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, guys. Donald Trump is sitting down with Joe Rogan. Now, I'm excited about this on a personal level. I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan, and I have been for a long time. I've been for a very, very long time. I don't always agree with his politics, but I find this show entertaining. He has incredibly interesting guests on at all times. When he does politics, it's right, left, it's center, it's whatever. He's got, conspiracy theorists on. He's got comedians and fighters. It's a good variety show of everything that's going to be happening. But more importantly than that, more importantly than the significance of the Joe Rogan experience and how much I like it, is the changing media ecosphere that is going on right now. Now, we know about this on the right and on the left. The podcast realm is beginning to take over the role of the mainstream media. Just think about this in the context of the last week. Donald Trump told 60 Minutes to GF, to go F yourself. Donald Trump told 60 Minutes to go to hell. At the exact same time, he says yes to Joe Rogan. Now, what does that mean? I want to give you guys an idea of what this show is going to be. This will be the most watched event ever. Maybe the moon landing won't top it. How do I know that? Well, in Tucker Carlson's heyday, when he was on Fox News, he would average 3.2 million viewers per episode. He was the highest rated cable news. He was the highest rated show in cable outside of live sports. Highest rated show in cable. Joe Rogan gets 13 million viewers an episode. He gets like 3 or 4 times as many viewers as the highest rated news show of the last 5 years or so. 100 million people are going to view this. Now, many people will say, but Kevin, we saw Donald Trump do the Twitter space with Elon Musk, and that got X number of viewers, huge event. No. Twitter measures their viewers very, very differently. They measure them cumulative, not concurrent. So if you tap on it once, it's a view. If you tap on it again, it's a view. Same person. Joe Rogan, the minute this drops, it wouldn't shock me if the YouTube algorithm completely crashes. 100 million people are going to tune into this live. And it's a real watershed moment in media. I'm talking about the same sort of things, the same sort of event on the line in terms of Kennedy versus Nixon. That first televised presidential debate, where John F. Kennedy absolutely destroyed Richard Nixon because he understood the medium of television. I'm talking about when FDR would do his fireside chats and speak directly to the people rather than going through the lens of the traditional media at the time. We've seen politicians across all stripes begin to edge their way into the political podcast sphere. Gina Marie, what's happening? We've seen them begin to edge their way into it. But this is going to be the biggest one. This is absolutely going to change the way media works. And it is an even greater sign that myself, LFA TV, shows like this one, pick your favorite show, pick your favorite network, are on the cutting edge of what's coming next. I've long said this about Fox News, for instance, okay? Take Fox News, is still the highest rated channel in cable. When you turn on Fox News, you don't hear from anybody, virtually anybody, under the age of 40. And if you do, it's the same people all day, every day. You put on whatever show you're going to watch on Fox News, and they have the same guests on every single day. I got to be honest with you. At this point in my career, at this point in my life, I don't care what Karl Rove thinks about things. I don't care what Newt Gingrich thinks of things. When you turn on networks like this one, we have an array of guests interesting people coming on talking about interesting things. It's not the same 9 people. I mean, how many times do you got to put on Fox News to hear General Jack Keane talk about how we got to bomb another country? People are over it. But in the podcast realm, you can experiment with that. You can have different guests. You can have, maybe a guest that sucks, maybe one that's good, and you play with that give and take. On this show alone, you've heard from members of Congress. You've heard from cultural figures, social media influencers, people who see things a little bit differently. But when you turn on cable news, it's the same thing every day. And this is going to be the October surprise. Because the audience that Joe Rogan has, the audience that he captivates, is so diverse in the way they think. From people who aren't political, from people who are very political, men, women, it doesn't matter. You don't draw an audience of that size without grabbing a hold of every single demographic imaginable. Is Joe Rogan's audience predominantly men? Sure. Is it predominantly Trump voters? Maybe. But Joe Rogan has talked shit about Donald Trump before. He said he wouldn't vote for him last time. He said he would vote for him this time. He said he would never have him on. Now he's having him on. That is the sort of heterodox thinking that we need in America. People that maybe don't agree left, right, center on everything. I know I certainly do not hold what some would consider the traditional right-wing views on things. I'm incredibly anti-war as the party continues to move over. I'm pro-weed, which most right-wingers are not. I don't really care about the sexual stuff as much as they did in the 90s and the 2000s. I don't really be gay, sing a song, do a dance. I really don't care. It is this heterodox thinking and this different way of doing interviewing that I think is really going to take hold in the future, and I'm excited to see it. I'm absolutely excited to see it. I think on Friday, we don't know if it's being released on Friday or if it's being recorded on Friday, but keep it locked in here to LFA TV. We're going to be talking about it. I have no doubt. The clips, first off, I want to be clear about a couple of things. The videos, the memes, the cuts are going to be hilarious. They're going to be amazing. The amount of video editing people are going to do to jump cut Joe Rogan laughing at the things Donald Trump says are going to be out of this world. I just imagine Donald Trump sitting on that show and just sitting there going, Kamala's a loser. She banged her way to the top. She's an idiot. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a fun, interesting conversation between two incredibly interesting people. And I don't know how long they're going to go for. Rogan's podcasts traditionally go 3 hours. Will Donald Trump do all 3 hours? I don't know. But this is a watershed moment in media and the way people campaign. I can just about guarantee you that this will be the most watched event in media this year. Maybe ever. Well, I want to track the Joe Rogan viewership of this on Spotify and on YouTube and compare it to that of the Super Bowl. That's what this is going to be. And that's why Spotify gave him $200 million. The power of good quality podcasting to now supersede the totality of the mainstream media. If you took every nightly news broadcast, David Muir, Lester Holt, Norah O'Donnell, whoever's in their slot on whichever other cable news network, combine it, it does not equal that of Joe Rogan. He is the most powerful figure in the American media landscape, and I'm jacked up about it. I am absolutely jacked up about it. We're going to keep rocking and rolling here, guys, because I'm going to show you the media freak out about this. And this ought to tell you how big of an interview this is going to be based on the way the media freaking out about it. Before we keep rocking and rolling here, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. We got big numbers already. Before we keep going today, guys, head on over to lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That is the home base, the mothership, the landing pad for all things LFA TV related. You guys can check out the LFA TV shop. And while you're there, consider becoming a monthly donor over at lfatv.us. That's lfatv.us. That is the best way to support this network and everything we've got going on. So head on over to lfatv.us. Yes, early voting in New York starts on Saturday. Early voting in New York starts on Saturday. Wait, Kev, when does early voting start? That's right, on Saturday. Go out, bank your vote, volunteer for a campaign, find somebody you like. If you can't find any candidate you like, call me and I'll put you in touch with someone that I think you'll like. So let's talk about the media freak out over this. And we've got to go to our friends over at the New Republic. Our friends over at the New Republic who have completely and utterly jumped the shark with this headline saying that Donald Trump has canceled all of his campaign events in order to sit down with one of the worst people ever. One of the worst people ever. You're right. Hitler, Stalin, Genghis Khan. Joe Rogan? I don't know. I don't know if that is an appropriate headline. One of the worst people ever. There's been a lot of people. You're right. On the list of bad people, you're right. We got Hitler, we got Stalin, Ted Bundy, and then we'll just drop down to Joe Rogan. I think you're missing a few in there, but not only in that headline, how they describe it being as bad as it really is. Listen to the way they describe what's about to happen. After backing out of several major interviews at the last minute, Donald Trump has one last major appearance on the horizon, the Joe Rogan Experience. The Republican presidential nominee will be meeting with the former Fear Factor host on Friday, reported by Politico. You see, this is what crappy online news outlets will do. Yes, is it true that Joe Rogan did host Fear Factor 25 years ago? Yeah. But when you're going down the list of things you know Joe Rogan for, is Fear Factor really the one? Or is it UFC commentator? Is it world famous comedian? Is it almost a Taekwondo Olympian? Is it a fitness guru? Is it a health program? Is it the biggest podcast in the world? Or is it at that time that he used to make people eat tarantulas? Minimizing the popularity of Joe Rogan ahead of this ought to tell you everything you need to know on just how scared they actually are. Over the last several months, Trump has made a concerted effort to reach young male voters by signing up for a slew of interviews with podcaster, including Twitch bannee Aiden Ross, Lex Friedman, Mark Calloway, and Theo Vaughn. Meanwhile, Trump has aggressively dodged more mainstream appearances, including go so far as to break election tradition by refusing to sit down with 60 Minutes in September, which he reportedly backed out of last minute over fears of rigorous show fact-checking. No. He backed out because Leslie Stahl lied about him live on the show and wanted a correction. But, as I said, moreover, more important than that, it shows you that people don't care about 60 Minutes. I watch the first 5 minutes of 60 Minutes every week, and that's only because I'm too lazy to turn off the football game that just ended. Rogan shared an odd moment with Trump in August when the podcasting behemoth appeared to side with Robert F. Kennedy, and MAGA appeared to side with Robert F. Kennedy over the MAGA leader before the independent presidential campaign bent the knee to Trump. Trump then chose to clap back, writing on social media that he looked forward to Rogan getting booed at the UFC event. Following the first debate between Vice President Harris and Trump, Rogan gave the Democratic nominee her flowers, commenting on air that whoever helped coach her had done an amazing job. See, the difference in that debate was not a difference in, like, who has the better policies, who's going to be better for the country, he told comedian Tom Segura. The debate, in my opinion, was who was better prepared, and she was way better. See, watch, look, watch me do this. I like Joe Rogan. That sentence was incorrect. It's not hard to hold both of those theories in your head at the exact same time. But watching them freak out over this. Can you believe he canceled on 60 Minutes to do Joe Rogan? Yeah. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. Let's see. Here we go. Let's play a little game. 60 Minutes ratings. 60 Minutes viewership. Play a little game. 60 Minutes gets 6.6 million. That's only because it comes on right after football. Joe Rogan gets 2.5 times that. So, yeah, your ROI would be a lot better. That's according to Nielsen. It is incredible to watch these people just sink. Watch them just drip with disdain over losing their command over the narrative and moreover their command over power. Because there was a time that people cared what Leslie Stahl and Scott Pelley thought. And that time is over. That time is done. You guys had your time in the sun. Now it's our time. Move down the bench. Guys, we're going to keep rocking and rolling here in just a minute because we do have more news that I want to make sure we get to. Cheryl, how are you? JB, how are you? Peter, how are you? Want to say hello to everybody. We got big numbers today. Big numbers today, guys. Pop that. Let's pop this live chat up on the screen. Hit the thumbs up button. Share the video out. Have you hit the thumbs up button? Chat, let me know if you hit the thumbs up button already. Let me know if you shared out this video. Say hello to everybody as we're moving and grooving here. So excited. Anyone leaving from Ronkonkoma and how early? Oh, for Sunday. I'll be in there basically at the crack of dawn. I'm working the event. Nancy, how are you? Natalie, how are you? Mike Stetson, what's happening? What's going on, everybody? Asa, how are you? Bansky Mike, ZBM, what's happening? Smash that like button, share it out all over the place. Let's jump right on it because it turns out we've got a new Republican over here. There's somebody new in the house. Before we get to that, Mike Lindell.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So, there is now a new member of the Republican Party. Giddy up, let's go. Giddy up, let's go. This is pretty wild. I think it's actually incredible to see, because Democrats will throw out Liz Cheney and they'll throw out Adam Kinzinger. These people are completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. As Republicans who have now switched in order to go to Kamala Harris. But on our side, we have actually prominent Democrats coming over to our side. Like, I don't know, the former vice chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, which Tulsi Gabbard was appointed to or was elected to in 2013. She was called the future of the Democratic Party. The future of the Democratic Party. However, she did not play by the rules. She did not play by the rules. In 2016, she resigned as the DNC co-chair in order to endorse Bernie Sanders for president of the United States. Now, not a big fan of Bernie. Kind of a communist. However, it shows you the divide happening both in the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party between the neoliberal and neoconservative uniparty blob and the move towards populism on the right and on the left. And yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard completely dropped that entire moniker and now is one of us. All I got to say to Tulsi Gabbard is, welcome to the party, pal.
And it is because of my love for our country, and specifically because of the leadership that President Trump has brought to transform the Republican Party and bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace, that I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party. I'm joining the party of the people, the party of equality, the party that was founded to fight against and end slavery in this country. It is the party of common sense and the party that is led by a president who has the courage and strength to fight for peace.
Welcome, Tulsi Gabbard. Now, look, once again, as I said with Joe Rogan, am I going to agree on everything? No. But we don't all have to agree because unlike the left, we are actually not in a cult. Unlike the left, we have free thinkers and heterodox ideas. We come at things from a different perspective, but all getting to the same goal of making America the once great country it used to be, as Democrats try to destroy it. Is Tulsi pro-choice? Yeah, she is. So, I don't agree with her there. Let's move on. Let's move on to where we do agree, find common ground in that area, and begin to implement the policies needed to be put forth in order to fix this country. Because there's a lot of fixing to do. And you've heard me say it once. I'll say it this time. I'll say it that way, up ways, down ways, and sideways. If you think we're going to fix this country in one election cycle, you are smoking more crack than Hunter Biden, okay? It took awful people, evil, selfish, greedy sons of... to destroy this country over the course of 30, 40, 50, 60 years. This fight does not end on November 5th. It is but the ending of a chapter in a long-running book that will be the America First populist movement that our great-grandkids will learn about. It is but the end of a chapter. And to see younger politicians, younger elected officials embracing some of these ideas. Because for me, it starts at free speech. And then we work out the rest. If you believe in free speech, actual free speech, we can work together. We're not always going to agree. We don't believe in weaponizing the justice system against people we disagree with. We don't believe in that crap because we are not Democrats. We do not believe in it's only free speech if I agree with it. Because free speech means you're going to hear some things you don't like. And you're just going to have to deal with it, Buttercup. You're just going to have to deal with it. So I welcome Tulsi Gabbard into the Republican Party. I welcome the former future of the Democratic Party into the Republican Party. I welcome Tulsi Gabbard. You know why I welcome her? Because whatever we need to do to defeat the dumbest person in America is what needs to happen. And we're going to get to more of that in just a second because Kamala had another ridiculous word salad the other day with Maria Shriver, who needs to just lay off the fillers, okay? Ladies, what are we doing here? It's one thing to not want to look your age. It is a whole nother thing to not look your species. And Maria Shriver is heading towards that. Sort of makes me understand why she did an interview with Kamala Harris, because they have so much in common, because both of their husbands knocked up their nannies. I'm sure they were chatting about that in the background. Before we get to that, Armor Colostrum.
The biggest benefit, honestly, has been with my skin. Skin was more hydrated, more radiant.
This is the best superfood that you could take.
It has all the essential nutrients you need for your skin, your gut, energy, focus, mood, performance.
My hair has gotten so much thicker ever since taking this.
I used to have a probiotic, a green juice that replaced it all with this Armor Colostrum. It is amazing.
You gotta take it.
If you want to try it, try armor.com.
Guys, head on over to tryarmor.com/LFATV. That's tryarmor.com/LFATV for their superfood formula. Start feeling better today over at tryarmor.com. That's tryarmor.com for 15% off and free shipping. So Kamala Harris sat down with Maria Shriver, who hasn't been relevant since her husband knocked up the nanny. How you doing, Arnold? How are you? Anybody want to tell me what the hell this is?
If I can just speak to what people are feeling. We cannot despair. We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact. An incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. And so that's the moment we're in. And I say do not despair, because in a democracy, as long as we can keep it in our democracy, the people, every individual has the power to make a decision about what this will be. And so let's not feel powerless. Let's not let and I get it, overwhelming nature of this all make us feel powerless, because then we have been defeated. And that's not our character as the American people. We are not one to be defeated. We rise to a moment, and we stand on broad shoulders of people who have fought this fight before for our country. And in many ways, let us look at the challenge then that we are being presented and not be overwhelmed by it. The baton is now in our hands to fight for, not against, but for this country we love. That's what we have the power to do. So let's own that. Dare I say, be joyful in what we will do in the process of owning that, which is knowing that we can and will build community and coalitions and remind people that we're all in this together. Let's not let the overwhelming nature of this strip us of our strength. That's how I feel about this. That's how I feel about this.
does that, what was that? I have no idea what that meant. No idea. And there's Liz Cheney still upset that Kermit the Frog won't date her. Looking very glum. Looking very upset. Because some people still don't understand. They still don't understand the complexity that is Donald Trump. It's not hard. It's not hard to understand Donald Trump. It is Donald Trump looking at people like Liz Cheney, Kamala Harris, and Maria Shriver and giving them a giant middle finger. We are done being governed by people like you. People who have their own interests at play. I say it all the time. It's one big club, and you ain't in it. With Donald Trump, we feel like we're a part of that club. And somebody is starting to understand exactly what we're talking about, and it's coming from an incredibly odd place. Before we get to that, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. If you're watching on Facebook, share the video out. Tag a friend. If you're watching on X, tag a friend. Giddy up. Let's go. Retweet this out. How many we got? What do we got? What do we got? We got big number, big number, big number. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Shout out to the McGroin crew. As always, let's say hello. Let's say hello. Boom. There we go. Everyone's ears continue to hurt them, I guess. Everybody's ears are starting to hurt them. Sorry about that. Don't worry. I got one more Kamala Harris clip for you. I got one more for you, and then we're done for the day. Oh. What is that? Joffoff, is that it? We got some plagiarizing quotations coming up in just a minute that's going to make you guys all laugh. It's going to make you guys all laugh. But there's one person that's starting to understand it. One person, and that is Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks. We've talked about Anna before. Look, another person, don't agree with on a whole hell of a lot, but she's starting to understand what's happening in this world. She's starting to understand that the left has gone too far. She's starting to understand what Donald Trump is to the rest of us.
Donald Trump is the middle finger manifested in human form. And I think that the individuals who support him, you know, they might support him for other reasons as well, but I do think that one of the dominant reasons is that it's giving a middle finger to our political establishment, to our institutions. And a lot of Americans feel like those institutions and the political establishment has let them down, whether we're talking about the Democratic establishment or the Republican establishment.
Whether we're talking about the Democrats or the Republicans, she's absolutely right. And I'm happy that Anna is fine. Look, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The Young Turks are a radical left-wing show, but they have done the legwork in building the idea of an online news program. They've been on for about 15 years now. And I'm not really a big fan of Cenk Uygur, but he understands what his viewers are feeling. He understands where the left is going. Just as Donald Trump here at LFA TV, people like us understand where the right is going. Cenk Uygur actually gave a shout out to Donald Trump, saying that the McDonald's stop was one of the best political campaigning things he's ever seen in his life. And he's right. While the rest of the media panned it, I don't know what he's doing. I'm so confused by this. Why would he ever go spend time with little people and the peasants and throw them bread? Why would he do that? Cenk Uygur actually understood it. So shout out to Cenk Uygur. Speaking of the political establishment failing us, interesting little nugget coming out of Maricopa County in Arizona. Because for some reason, and I don't know, maybe it's the heat, I don't know what it is, maybe they got sand in their eyes, I don't know what's going on in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Arizona. But for some reason, no one over there knows how to count. They are now telling us we may not get Arizona election results for 10 to 13 days after the election.
We got 2 weeks.
Anyway, very tight races here. In fact, Maricopa County setting the stage.
that tabulating all these votes may not be an election night thing. It may take days.
Wow. Well, 12 News journalist Colleen Sikora explains that county leaders are asking voters for patience and to be prepared.
Tight races, high interest in the election, and a two-page ballot are leaving Maricopa County officials warning of lines on Election Day, and also warning it's going to take them 10 to 13 days to tabulate results. 2 pages and an average of 79 contests per ballot.
We are expecting heavy turnout this year, and so that's why we're really encouraging people to vote early.
2 weeks out from Election Day, and some votes are in.
More than 400,000 people have cast their ballot in Maricopa County.
That's out of an anticipated 2.1 million voter turnout this year.
We are seeing a little bit of a lag of where we were in 2020, but the last few days we've actually seen an uptick in turnout, so I am expecting that we will start approaching very close to those 2020 numbers.
What can impact the amount of results released and when? Early ballots dropped off on Election Day.
Our races will be close.
And on Election Day, lines are expected, even with an increase in vote centers and voting booths at those vote centers.
If you're going to vote on Election Day, vote in person and use that on-site tabulator so that those votes will be tabulated on that evening, as opposed to dropping off your early ballot on Election Day.
The county adding more high-speed tabulators, more election workers.
We're increasing staffing at our ballot processing as well because, again, we're handling double the number of the sheets of paper. And so we are looking to both have extra shifts, night shifts, if necessary, in ballot processing, and then in the next step that takes place in election administration, and that's through tabulation.
But tabulation expected to take time.
We do expect that it will take between 10 and 13 days to complete tabulation.
10 and 13 days? You find out who wins American Idol by the end of the damn episode. How is any person supposed to have confidence in this election when it takes you 2 weeks to count? But don't worry, guys. Kamala Harris is on top of this. Don't worry, guys. Kamala Harris is on top of this. Because if she doesn't get the election results she wants, she's just going to challenge the results.
We've got 2 weeks to go. And I'm very much grounded in the present in terms of the task at hand. And we will deal with election night and the days after as they come. And we have the resources and the expertise and the focus on that as well.
So you have teams ready to go? Is that what you're saying? Are you thinking about that as a possibility?
Of course.
Of course, because it turns out when Democrats challenge elections, that's totally okay. When you do it, you're an insurrectionist. When you challenge election results, you're an insurrectionist and you go to prison. Luckily for us, someone is getting out of jail for that baloney next week, just before the election. We're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. Before we do that, guys, hit that thumbs up button, share the video out all over the place. Let's keep moving and grooving here because somebody is getting out of the can right around the appropriate time. Let's pop that up. Oh, where are we going here? Boom, let's move that over. So, guys, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. Check out all the good stuff we've got over here. The people who put this website together are absolutely amazing. Guys, support them. Even more than you support me. Guys, go to loudmajorityusa.com and use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code LFA to get 20% off everything. Oh, look at all the doggy stuff. You got to pick that up today, guys. loudmajorityusa.com. Use promo code LFA to get 20% off everything on the website. You know what? And while we're at it, if you order today, I'll throw in a free Loud Majority hat. Free Loud Majority hat if you order today and use promo code LFA. 20% off. Guys, go to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. So, Steve Bannon, Uncle Steve, the host of War Room, is slated to be released from prison next Tuesday. Thank God. Steve is finally going to be returned to us. Former White House chief advisor and War Room host Steve Bannon is scheduled to be released from federal prison next Tuesday, and the Bureau of Prisons has confirmed this. Even though Bannon was eligible for early release from prison for weeks, the Biden-Harris administration has ignored that stipulation and held firm on the October 29th release date at which Bannon will serve his full 120 days in jail that he received as his sentence for being found guilty of contempt of Congress. Bannon refused to cooperate with former Liz Cheney in her subpoenas over the January 6th committee over questions of executive privilege. Cheney has, of course, joined the Democratic ticket. Bannon is being held at the Federal Correctional Institute in Danbury, Connecticut. The jail has said there wasn't enough time to move Bannon to a penitentiary closer to his home in Washington, D.C., according to the National Pulse. Although he is days away from his freedom, Bannon has continued to appeal against his conviction and sentencing. During his time in jail, Bannon has reportedly visited the prison library frequently. On Tuesday, Judge Carol Nichols denied a renewed request from Bannon to be released from jail on his appeal. His legal struggles, of course, are far from over, with another legal tussle in New York. He has already pleaded not guilty to charges of money laundering, conspiracy theory, and fraud related to the Build the Wall campaign. Bannon said on Friday, Bannon had just said Friday that he's being held illegally in prison because he should be eligible for the First Step Act legislation, of course, that Donald Trump promoted. But Kamala Harris is the queen of mass incarceration. Following the first assassination attempt in Butler, PA, Bannon expressed his relief from prison, saying, quote, "I've warned about this very thing for a year. An assassination attempt, the threat is real, very real. Thankfully, Donald Trump wears the armor of God today, and our leader showed complete and total command, stood tall, and said, fight, fight, fight." So Steve Bannon could have been released from prison months ago, but Kamala Harris decided to leave him in the can anyway. These people have no shame whatsoever. These people have no shame whatsoever. They ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they won't be. Guys, in just a second, we're going to have some fun at the expense of Kamala Harris, because we know that she likes to, how would you say this, make shit up as she goes along. It turns out, and nobody caught this at the time, she actually plagiarized a story from the TV show The West Wing in her experience as vice president. We're going to get to that in 1 second. Before we do, guys, hit the thumbs up button, share the video out, tag a friend. I will see you guys on Sunday at Madison Square Garden. Also, real quick announcement for my local audience. I'm going to be doing another live video in about 2 hours. Hurricane relief drive tomorrow at the Union Hall. At the Union Hall in Ronkonkoma. Let me get this up on the screen so I can get the exact address. Anybody that wants to come on down and help out, 2123 5th Avenue in Ronkonkoma. A big shout out to Senator Mario Matera and the Plumbers Union Local 200 for allowing us to use the site. Anybody that wants to come on down and help out, we can certainly use the hands. What did I say it was? That is Local 200 at 2123 5th Avenue in Ronkonkoma all day tomorrow. I'll be there immediately after the show. Come on down, say hello, bring some stuff, give a hand. This will be our last donation headed down there. This will be our fifth tractor trailer headed down to North Carolina. You guys have been absolutely unbelievable. Thank you. So, before we head out today, we're going to have a little bit of fun at the expense of Kamala Harris, because she got caught up in a little bit of a lie. She went on Stephen Colbert and told a story about something that happened to her while she was vice president. Check this out.
Okay, so here's the thing, because you and I have visited before. I know you love Veep.
I do. I love Veep. Is it accurate?
There are bits of it that are actually quite accurate. And okay, so last week, so my team, we were having long days as usual, and a member of my team decided to do something really sweet for me. So I was out of my office in the West Wing. I was having a meeting across the street, and we're walking back toward my office, and he says, "I need to tell you something." So I wanted you know, the winter is almost over. It's really cold today. We haven't lit your fireplace. So I decided when you were in that meeting to light the fireplace. But he forgot to open the flute. So Secret Service was like, ma'am, you could not go back to your office.
Holy cow.
Because there was smoke everywhere. But it was the
Or just hang a
sweetest
ham in
gesture.
there and get a beautiful cure on it.
It's just...
So it's kind of like Veep because somebody lit the fireplace without opening the flue. Except, yeah, that story is not from Veep. That story is from The West Wing.
I think this might be because the wood is wet.
Well, the fire ought to dry up pretty quick, shouldn't it?
You'd think.
What did you do?
It's going pretty good now.
There's smoke in the hallways.
What the hell's going on? The wood's drying up.
Are you burning a dining room table?
Spruce is a slow-drying wood. You have any idea what you're talking about? No.
Hang on.
Are those instructions?
It says that this fireplace was a favorite of President Andrew Johnson, and he would sip whiskey from a charcoal keg while reading by its light.
That doesn't help.
The flue's been welded shut since 1896.
Well, that's probably it. What are you doing? Somebody started a fire in this fireplace, Charlie.
If the smoke alarms go off, they're going to make me wake up the president. The president's 1,000 yards over and 2 flights up. It's Secret Service procedure.
Well, let's get a fire extinguisher and put it out before the smoke will...
What? Mr. President, you know you told me not to wake you up unless the building was on fire.
Couldn't even get the damn show right. Plagiarized the show, couldn't even get the damn show right. She is absolutely nauseating. Absolutely nauseating. But luckily, we've got some people out there like Bill Ackman, billionaire Bill Ackman, who decided to go on CNBC and smack Andrew Ross Sorkin around, one of the dumbest people on television, because you know what they say, if you can't do the job, go on TV and talk about the job.
Let's talk about team for a moment, because it's not really Trump versus Harris. It's the Trump team versus the Harris team, right? So what have we seen? So Trump's picked J.D. Vance as his vice president. I'm afraid of mispronouncing him.
No, it's
Kamala has picked, Walz. Walz is a self-described knucklehead, right? I can't imagine a world in which this guy is president of the United States. And you have to look at the vice president as a potential president of the United States. So that's, right. If I line them up, you know, you've got a guy who grew up in a very, very challenged environment, addiction, family, rural America, makes his way to Yale, armed forces. Now he's, you know, venture capitalist, senator, extremely articulate, obviously highly intelligent. So you compare and contrast. You have Elon Musk, who's probably the, you know, one of the most consequential, certainly consequential business leaders 100%. In the world. It's proven he can take on 12 things at the same time and change the world. Okay, you know, who's going to take? He really put himself out here in this election. And first, the only one talking about government efficiency, right? And Trump's all in. By the way, RFK, okay? RFK is a highly intelligent, capable person, and he's focused on a couple of issues that mean a lot to me. Number one, you know, the food industrial complex, what's happened to the health of Americans over the last couple of decades. He's going to focus on that. I think that is a critically important issue. I think examining the 73-shot regime that we give our kids it's worth doing.
You've spent your whole career talking about truth, honestly.
Yes.
You go out there publicly talking about companies that you think are lying.
Sure.
And I just want to know what you think when you see, for example, former President Trump publicly say on the record that he forced Deere to not move to Mexico. And then the company has to come out with a statement that says that that's false, fundamentally false. He puts on Twitter or on social on his social media platform that Jamie Dimon is endorsing him. And then J.P. Morgan has to come out publicly and say that's not true.
Actually, that's not what happened. What happened was Jamie said some positive things about Trump. Someone posted on Twitter that Jamie's endorsing him, and Trump, in effect, retweeted.
Let me ask you this, though. But as somebody who cares about truth, use the Deere example, because that's as black and white as they come.
So look,
what do you think of that?
I think there are probably many examples of Trump convincing and/or threatening a company that if they open up a factory in Mexico, that he's going to, you know, tariff their goods or whatever, and maybe he confused the company. Okay, but he certainly has used that kind of technique. But let me hold on.
Go ahead.
I want to make my own argument here.
You can, but
you get to do it all day. I get to do it now.
There's lies on both sides. It's like unbelievable.
In her Twitter account,
okay,
Vice President Harris put stuff out about Trump that are absolutely completely false. Like, so for example, he's going to sign a federal abortion ban. Okay, Trump's not going to sign a federal abortion ban. He's in bold letters, capital letters. He said it publicly. He's posted it. Otherwise, I can give you multiple examples. Just take a look at her Twitter feed, her X feed. It's a series of lies about President Trump. So, she's not some, unfortunate, again, I look forward to a world, maybe it's 4 years from now, and we have two candidates, and it's November 5th again, and none of them have lied. None of them have personal issues. They're like the world's most incredible candidates, and it's so hard to decide because they're amazing. Human beings are flawed. Donald Trump is flawed. Kamala Harris is flawed.
You think they lie and it's the same? What about like eating pets? No, honestly, I know because
first of all, we only got a couple minutes.
Okay, let me focus. Let's talk about the issue. The issue is when you have totally open borders, okay, and you're flying 20,000 immigrants from one culture into a city of 40,000 people, and there isn't sufficient infrastructure, and they don't have driver's licenses, and they have different habits. And by the way, and maybe it wasn't cats and dogs, but they were trapping geese in the pond or whatever, whatever the ultimate truth is. There's a symbolic element there.
There's a symbolic element there. And it's nice to see somebody go on CNBC and smack Aaron Sorkin around, one of the dumbest people on television. Guys, we're going to wrap up right now. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in once again tomorrow. Tomorrow, guys, Hurricane Relief Drive for my local audience, 2123 5th Avenue in Ronkonkoma. Come on down after the show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. LoudMajorityUSA.com. Use promo code LFA. I'll catch you guys back live tomorrow. Until then, stay loud.